Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 2. Today we're going to be focusing more on adding details to the infrastructure. For example, the traffic lights, as you can see right now. We're going to be building some lamps, finishing off the park, and yeah. So as you can see right now, I'm working on some traffic lights, so there's a million ways you could build them, but I just went for the simple design. I used a lot of the black stone and deep slate. Originally I was going to do stone bricks, but I've never really used the deep slate and black stone stuff before, so I thought I'd give it a try, and I really love how it turned out. And then probably off camera I'll add some banners that have actual traffic lights. That's boring. If you really want to find out how those are done, I don't think it'd be really important to add me doing the banners, but if that's something you guys would love to see, let me know. But you could find all sorts of stuff out there on how to do banners and stuff, so it's not that hard to do. Well, yeah, banners aren't necessarily ideal because you can't see them from far away, but it works, so that's what I'll probably do off camera. As you can see, it's a little repetitive at first because it's just adding the same kind of traffic lights at each intersection. Each intersection has different lights because so far with this infrastructure, the roads are all different. There's 2-lane roads, there's 1-lane roads, there's all sorts of kind of roads going on right now. There's even a 1-lane road, and I'm working on right here in a 3-way intersection, which kind of threw me off a little bit because I'm used to building just 4-way intersections. But the point of this build is to kind of challenge myself a little bit too, because I want to deliver the best quality builds I can since people are watching. Yeah. So this 3-way intersection, I think it turned out fine with how I did the lights. And just my biggest issue is adding the road markings. I'm going to try to find a better way to do it, but for now, that's just what I came up with. Right now, I'm going to add some lamps right here, as you can see. I'm really trying to struggle with keeping it symmetrical and at the same time look nice. And you can call me crazy, but I think things look better when it's symmetrical, I like to have the same amount of spacing between everything, and I want it to look good. So I try to keep stuff like lamps and all that like equal distancing so it's symmetrical and it lines up with the entrance or exits to those parks. This is the lamp design I chose to use, going very similar off with the traffic lights, but decided to use beacons. I just like local light lights, and it's just kind of that for a little bit, just adding them along the road. It's important, you gotta see where you're driving in the nighttime, I also just made this road really pop out, which I just love the way it looks with all the traffic lights and all the lamps. Oh, and then just when trying to keep it symmetrical, I sometimes like to use filler blocks just to place down to get like an idea of the amount of blocks that are in between. For example, you saw me using the gold blocks. I try to be precise. I'm mental, I'm well aware, but I wanted to make sure it's precise as possible and as symmetrical as possible. And it looks better, it's better for the human eye. I'm sure everyone watching could agree. And then just going off what I said last video, I know I said I'm going to try to post once a week, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to post sooner. I'm guessing by the time this gets released, it'll be 2 days after the first video. I'm mostly just going to post when I feel like it, and when I have the video ready to go. But the one video a week is just kind of to confirm that there's going to be one video a week. Like, I can promise that. So that's just how I'm going to do it for the start of this, and just see how it goes. My goal is to try to get a few series established and build episodes and just try to build up my channel as much as I can. And if you have any tips or recommendations for that, please put them down in the comments. All the help helps. helps. Yeah, okay, that's English, but every bit of help I can get helps in the long run. And just, if you have any recommendations, put it in the comments. You know, honestly, the first video was doing pretty good. I was expecting like maybe a view and that's it, but no. For the first video, it's more than I'm expecting. It's nothing mouth-dropping or anything. It's like, I think last time I checked, 20 views, but that's more than I expected, honestly. So right here, I'm just adding some lights under the bridge. Rather than beacons, I decided to use sea lanterns. Kind of modified the bridge a little bit so it looks a little bit nicer. And then for most of the traffic lights, not traffic lights, lamps. Yeah, I'm great at English, but I had them like 13 blocks apart, I think. But in some spaces, I'm not. I know I'm talking about like consistency and things there, but I also want it to look good. And if it's off by like a little bit in one area, I'm gonna move it around. I mean, I bet you couldn't even tell. So now, another thing I forgot to do in the last video was detail this path, so I'm gonna quickly do that. And, on my paths, I like to detail it, makes it more realistic, makes it look better. I mean, the normal diorite looks nice, but throwing it in with that polished diorite makes it look awesome. And now I'm just kind of working on the fencing of the park. I'm not gonna go too crazy with it. I'm just gonna use the stone blocks and iron bars. And just, again, try to keep that symmetrical as possible because, it looks better. And my biggest struggle when it comes to builds with this is making sure it looks as symmetrical as possible, And sometimes it might not line up. So, like at one spot, I think it's like 5 blocks, 4 blocks, and then 3 blocks. Not really sure. But right here, building staircase, just trying to, I wasn't really planning on it at first, but I figured, hey, make it more accessible for the different areas of this area of the city. And hey, it works, and you could get to the upper part, you can get to the lower part. You gotta make it accessible as possible. And right where that road goes to where it's empty, where it looks like a bridge, I know last video I talked about wanting to have it like a bridge that goes over, but I think I'm gonna make it a tunnel. And if you ever play GTA, there's the highway that goes through the city, right? And there's that long tunnel that curves and goes in by like the beach area and stuff. I kind of want something similar to that. Definitely won't go to like a beach type area, but that's kind of where I'm getting that kind of inspiration. And for building stuff like this, I get a lot of inspiration from games like GTA, or sometimes I'll boot up PS4 Spider-Man and just being able to see those buildings from a different point and being able to look all around them. It's a way to look at it. So right now, I added some benches, and I'm so annoyed by this. So there used to be a strat where if you put 4 string on top of each other next to a tree, they grow into the bigger ones. And for some reason that wasn't working, so I resorted to just placing normal samplings. I didn't like the look of it, but I am not good enough builder to build custom trees. So I placed a few there, as you can see. But then I really did not like the look, so I kind of try to find some strategies to make the oak trees grow into the bigger versions of one. And I found this strat on Reddit that if you place the fences around it, it made them bigger. And then I was really happy about that. But then for some reason, as you just saw right there, they didn't work. And I just kept on trying to mess around with that. But then I don't know when it shows me discovering it. But you can't do it on moss blocks, apparently, for some odd reason. It has to be on a dirt or grass block, and then it will grow bigger. And just, that was a little learning curve for me, because some people might have removed this part of the footage, but I'm just building this as I go. I'm not really having anything planned out. I'm just kind of just going with the flow of it, and there's always trial and error. There's a little cut in the footage there because I lost some of it. I'm recording through Xbox, and then I'm editing it just on my phone, and it's really annoying because Xbox will allow you to record for like 10 minutes and then it stops. So all this footage is 10-minute recordings, like sped up. I think I have it, it's around 5x for the clips, it's 5 times speed. And I liked how it looks, so it also makes these videos a reasonable time. I don't want to make them too long, like 20 minutes. I think that's too much. I think this video is fine, 15 minutes. That's pretty good, I think. And then I think 10 minutes is too short, because seeing just time-lapse pretty much of a build, I mean, I personally, 15 minutes is plenty. But if you guys beg to differ, I am willing to hear what you guys recommend. Because again, like I was saying, I am learning, and as you can see with this tree struggling, that's clearly me learning. And if you guys want to help me learn, I would appreciate that, you know? We're always learning, we're always growing. Yeah, as you can see here though, I'm just tearing down the normal trees because they look terrible. I'm not a fan with it, not realistic at all. But the bigger trees, I think, look awesome. And I mean, like I said, I'm not the greatest at building custom trees, so this route is pretty good. And I found out that if you like vary with the fence posts, that you can get different sizes of the tree. Like for some of them, I put 3 posts around the tree, like 3 blocks tall. Some of them I did 4 blocks tall. And I think even one I did 5 blocks tall, and they all turned out great. Now another question you might be wondering is why I'm using moss blocks in the first place. It's because I think the texture looks better than grass. A lot of people could beg to differ, but I really like it. And then it's really easy to fill up with like foliage and stuff because you just bone meal it and boom, there's moss carpets, grass, and the little tree things. It just does it so quick and it looks really nice. Right now I'm working on some of the bench layout in the park. And you know, just talking about parks and stuff, they're really important for a city because, you know, it's more than just a green spot. It's been studied that green like kind of represents like calmfulness and stuff like that. And just having a place that's more focused on nature and calming to walk around in a crazy city that has skyscrapers all over the place, it's definitely important, you know? And if you're just surrounded by a gray forest, it seems very dull, very blank. So to throw in a little color, which is obviously green in this case, is really important. And just having a place where you can walk, take a deep breath, and relax is really important. So parks are, I mean, you see parks in big cities all the time. There's Millennium Park in Chicago, there's Central Park in New York. These parks are very important for the cities. And just, like I said, it represents a place you can go, relax, and be calm. That stone brick wall over there, I plan on having it kind of like a little map of the area and the city. I'll do the mapping stuff off camera. There's a few stuff that I don't know, I don't think would be that entertaining to watch in a time-lapse format like this. So most of that I'll just do off camera. These bench designs aren't too complicated, and I wanted to add some kind of lighting. And I didn't really know a good design to build for the area I had, so I just simply put a stone pillar with lanterns. Those aren't pillars, those are walls, but whatever. English is great. So you know, now we're just switching it to nighttime and seeing how the lights turned out and seeing all the lights, just wow, this is beautiful. And I mean, I'm not playing this right now, this is obviously me just commentating on it, but just looks awesome. And the lighting helps with the perspective of walking around the world. You'll hear me say this a ton of times, but perspective is so important in any kind of build because you want it to look good from all perspectives. And rather than those tiny little trees that I was talking about I don't like, I want to have bigger trees that you could see between the logs and potentially see these massive skyscrapers and the city that surrounds it, because it's a park in the city and that's what it's supposed to be. And I just really love how it turned out. The lighting just for the park area was better than I expected, so just putting back the lights on. But yeah, that's episode 2. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. This episode's a bit quicker than the first one, but it really wasn't meant to be. I mean, the first one was laying out where all this was happening. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in the next episode. Peace.